This past week has been kind of a trying week for everyone. On George Floyd's neck, you see your father down there. You see, and metaphorically, it's a mentality that needs to be broken because it's underdiagnosed. If you had to put a medical term to it, it's just racism. It's been impregnated in the mind of young people who are vulnerable to these. They're unable. And they grow up to hate other races. They grow up to hate other people as though they have a hateful adults, and sometimes they don't even know how they receive this. It gets passed on from generation to generation, and this hate it get involved into a on people who group of great people out there. You have a small group of people who are not great, but that needs help. And by the way, they're pulled over three. In a sense because they don't know the language. Others. So Americans or black. Now, the first thing that someone would say is, "Oh, he's a racist." No, I'm pointing out facts, and I've been growing up in Louisiana. As growing up in Louisiana, in the side, I've been punched in the head by police. Anything, and they on you and well on you, and you've had pushing back. But when you have And it's not because they fear, it's because they want part of the action that they've been taught from the beginning. And it's their time to get a part. They torture them and they take tallies. Not all police officers are bad, but you have like to minorities. And one person who can fix this, and that's Jesus Christ. And until he come back, it will always be like this. We've always had minorities. We others. You get paid less on the job. You walk into the department stores. You there to steal, you know, and it's a problem. It irks you. It gets on your nerves, and nobody else can understand. But it's something that even black people can't explain at this point. It's who look like me, and he held his knee on his neck for almost 7 minutes. How can you go to your oppressor? When they're called out there, they're going to do something that they're going to do. Be fixed. This has to get better. We keep saying bad. Shoot them if they start losing. You know, that's wrong. You can't make a division like that and say that this is united. That you need to go and reassess yourself. If this hurts, Matthew 5:38 through 48. I tell you, do not resist an evil person. This is what Jesus says. So in the Levitican law, my animal, guess what? You gotta give me your animal. If you chop off my hand, I'm gonna chop off your hand. If you commit a crime in a manner, but this is doing Levitican law. When Jesus came, he told you do not resist an evil person because Jesus talked about the minor offenses that were here. Jesus explained that if somebody slaps your cheek, offenses will usually lead to the major offenses. The major offenses were sought out and were punished by the Romans. The Romans had the crucifixion. Time of Jesus Christ, there was a time where Jesus said these minor offenses, we need to go by the law that God had to correct. So the major law was done by the Romans. Act of death. Were in place during that time. So the Bible tells us that we must obey the law. And Jesus said this in the following verses. It says, if anyone slaps you on the right, forces you to go one of races. When you have a group that Chinese man thinks, because they're always trying to put you in a box where you can be controlled. You are a subject. The reason why people out there looting and their problem, one could say, oh, you taught us violence, from the beginning of the time. During slavery, you taught. We have today, we have a mentality that we are in chains and that we are in this modern day slavery. You cannot go to yes, our house people who basically get organized. The major offenses during the time of Jesus Christ, where they were executed by the Romans. But the jail, they full of black people. They full 85% African American. How can that be? How can that be in the time of the United States of America unless somebody's trying to subdue a race? Oh, they're riding right along. Matter of fact, I was right behind him in the opposite lane. We both pulled come to me. I said, why you let him go? I know I'm finna go. He said, no. Not the same America for everybody. And in back in this time, it's not the same. One who wants to borrow from you. It is said, you may be children of your father. Enemy in your head. And back in the day, when this person who maybe they've been taught to hate everything about you, and they just hate, and they go and have their rallies, they organize to the Capitol. They're not going to be attacked. The police officers, they just stand there just like they some guard in England. They're organized. They will sit there and they will recite the United States Constitution. They will recite everything. If you ain't doing nothing, if you want to stop and riot, quit using certain carriers. United States Postal Service. Get where you stop buying their stuff. Keep it in your community. So you are minorities and say, you know what, we got to let one in so nobody will say anything to satisfy the federal government. Rise above the small things and be great. Actually, it hurt me so for African Americans, y'all quit to judge black people. You hate everything we do. Now they can put all this community. Why is it that African Americans at a higher rate than anything, they're leaving our churches and going over to white churches, and white churches, they sit up there and they'll post a paragraph pay less on the job. It is your responsibility to, as a because at this wrong, they should speak on wrong. Don't sit. Not true. It's a scheme at that point. It's a scheme, and you leading them to slaughter, which is yourself. You leading them to yourself, which you acting like a wolf. So for these pastors that's not saying nothing, you could be black. Like myself, I'm gonna speak out on it. Because guess what? God has blessed me in a way that it's my responsibility to say anything. If I'm a shepherd of my sheep, it's my responsibility not to lead them astray. It's my responsibility to protect them from the dangers that lie. I'm supposed to take my rod and lift him up. That's why I carry a rod and a staff. And the staff is to protect from the enemies. So what kind of shepherd are you when you don't sit there and speak up for what's going on in the system of America? And you see it going on. And you can sit there and say, oh, this and that. The eye for an eye concept, it was doing Levitican law. We must obey the law in all essence. Organize, where you can sit there and say, I'm not buying their stuff anymore, you know, because it's people. But you must keep God first in whatever that you do, because if you don't keep God first, you're not going to have it in you to do right. You have to go to war about something. So you can sit there and not say nothing and let all this happen to you. But if you let God be the shepherd, like people will say that I'm biased, I'm a black man and I'm very biased about the situation. To this right now, divide. Abundance. The Bible says Pastor David, thank you for allowing me to come in your